and welcome back to Beautytainment Podcast. I am your host, Claudia Aceves. And sir?
What's up, everybody? Roundy right here.
This is Mr. Round, and we have an awesome guest. I think I'm really excited about the guest because I think we can all use help on social media, right? Some people are doing it terrible. Some people are doing it okay.
Some people ain't doing that at all.
Some people ain't doing it at all, and I think that's a good thing, and that's not cool. So this is Maritza. Maritza, say hello.
Hi, everyone. I'm Maritza. I am the owner of Big Tech's social media marketing. I am so excited to be here.
Awesome.
It's a good thing. I think one of the things that I was really thinking about or looking forward to doing this podcast, like I told you, I think there's a lot of people who just don't know how to do social media right. It's like a whole fucking job, right? We talk about that shit all the time.
It's a goddamn job. It's a whole. If you have a business, you have another business in social media. It's a whole nother aspect of business. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. And it's insane that there's a business for that now, because like maybe 15 years ago, like there wasn't a whole business based around social media.
Social media around 15 years?
Well, I mean, like what, like Facebook or
YouTube, Facebook was out there, but now with all of these, like especially like short form video platforms, like you've got TikTok, you've got even Pinterest and even Snapchat. I don't really use Snapchat, but I know that's like a big thing too. There's so many different ways
for businesses on Snapchat.
Yeah,
I thought it was like only the OnlyFans girls that did Snapchat.
You'd be surprised.
Why do you think that?
Oh, no reason.
Yeah, things have changed a lot, and it's continuously changing, even just like month by month. It's always updating, always a new change to the algorithm, and it's a lot. And that's why I've made it my full-time job, because when I was running my own business, and I can share sort of my backstory, but it's just constantly evolving. But because of that, there are so many opportunities now to grow your business because of it.
Yeah, for sure. It opens up the world to your business and to your market. You know what I mean? The social media is amazing. Everybody talks shit about it and hates it, but it's an amazing tool to have.
Yes.
Like I couldn't imagine doing business without it.
Yeah.
And so Round and I always talk about this just because we've been in business for 14 years. Like 14 years ago, you couldn't just say, oh, I'm going to show, 20,000 people this picture that I'm about to post and show them my work. Nah. It's like the only way that you could do that, and with no insights, is to put it on the newspaper and a commercial, the radio. And even then, you didn't know how many of those people were your target market.
Exactly.
And you didn't know who the fuck was even going to be
and it was
watching it.
It was expensive,
It's
too.
expensive as shit.
It was too expensive.
So I feel like when people complain about it, and I've done that too. I'm guilty of it here and there, because it's a fucking job.
Yeah.
And so as an artist, I kind of just want to go in and do my thing. But I know now as a business owner more than an artist, like it's a job and like you have to do it. So how did you, I feel like whoever does social media is a job, people stumble upon it. I don't think we're to the point yet where there's like a social media, what would you call it, like college degree or something?
I guess marketing. They do teach it in college now.
Oh, they
do? Yeah, they actually do. They have social media market in part of the marketing programs. Social media is a part of it now.
It should be.
Yeah, they do.
So how did you start doing social media full time?
Yes, so definitely I stumbled into it.
Right? Yeah,
yes, I did. So this was back in 2018. I was actually a health coach, and I was marketing my own business. So I was like, okay, if I'm going to make this work, I have to put myself out there. I actually had started a YouTube channel. I think everyone had like a YouTube phase around that time. And so that's when I first started. And then I started to put myself on Instagram. And during that time, I sort of ran into this agency owner. We were actually at an HEB, and my husband, he just talks to anyone and everyone, and he saw that he had a challenger like wrapped in all kinds of stickers that were promoting other businesses. So he went up to him and he talked to him, and my husband likes to talk me up more than my experience at the time, and he was like, hey, my girl does social media, maybe she can help you out. And that owner ended up reaching out to me and offered me a social media management job, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this because one, it'll help me because I can learn on the experience. And it was a wonderful experience because I ended up working with nonprofits, celebrity landscape architects. It was like a really cool experience. And then from there, I dove into the world of being a content creator. So not just working with businesses, but I ended up putting myself on TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh, man, good for you.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work.
Well, I've seen your videos. They're really educational. You hit a lot of the education on your videos. They're good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've heard of this, but there was this wild new side hustle. It was called UGC, User Generated Content. And it's basically you're being able to almost put yourself out there like as an influencer, but without the need of having followers. You would work with these bigger brands, create content so they can post them onto their platforms as either organic content or run it as ads. So I was like, okay, I'm going to learn this. I got super into it. I posted my first UGC example, and that has over 400,000 views now.
Oh, wow.
No way.
And it went viral like the day that I posted it. I was like,
cool.
oh my gosh.
Oh, wow. That must have been overwhelming.
It was overwhelming, but it was also very exciting. So I was like, wow, like there really is so much potential here. And I ended up actually producing several viral videos because of that formula that I learned. And I worked with over 50 brands in the e-commerce space during that time period. And I started to sense this like not urgency, but I wanted to help other businesses, like local businesses, because with brands, it's almost the communication can be kind of cold. Like it's just all through email.
Yeah.
I don't get to see the results of my work. They just send me the paycheck and that's it. Like, thank you for your work. That's it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I want to see the actual impact that I make. Like I can see if
like
they
the
post it.
insights,
Yeah, the insights. And because I learned so much of how to create content that's supposed to sell, I was like, this is going to be useful for small business owners too.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Because essentially that's what we're all doing, right? We're
Yes.
creating content to sell.
Yes.
Yeah. To be in front of people, get the eyeballs, and sell your product, whatever your service is.
Yes.
I got a quick question though.
Yeah.
So going viral, what is like at what number is it considered viral?
So if you were to really put a definition on it, technically viral is like 1 million plus.
That's what I figured. And
Yes.
what actually happens when you go viral? Did you like blow up and start getting a bunch of business because you went viral? Or
I did. So brands started reaching out to me immediately.
Okay.
So they were flooding my inbox because I was creating viral content around products, right? So the first product, it was like my daughter's hairspray for her curly hair. that's what went viral first. And then I started doing supplements because I had come from the health space.
Okay.
And so, that became my niche for a while. I was a wellness content creator. And then I just started talking to people here. My first client here is actually Leah at Latida, formerly Nobility.
yeah.
Okay, we were just over there like a month ago or something.
Well, and then we saw each other. Over
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So that's sort of my transition into working.
Because you always hear about people wanting to go viral, and you see these people that go viral, but like,
Yes.
what do they do with it? You know what I mean?
I know you have to be prepared, especially if like on the business side, if you go viral and you don't have all the things like in place, it's such a missed opportunity, especially for sales.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if you don't have like your funnel set up, if you don't have like the links or a call to action, and if it's just a video to go viral, then like I said, you lost a lot of potential there. And then for myself, even though I didn't have like something directly to sell, it did lead to work for me from working with other brands. So that is one thing to keep in mind. If you're going to post, like you just never know what's going to pop off, and to prepare for that.
It seems like people doing stupid shit. That's what goes viral all the time.
Oh, I know.
Maybe that's the stuff that we see though too.
But it's funny.
Okay.
But
Or
like, what the
people
fuck is
doing
the
stupid
point,
shit.
right?
Okay, I don't know if you've been on TikTok lately. There's this video. It's a bowl of strawberries with chocolate syrup on it. I think it's like at 200 million views.
Oh my god!
What is it?
That's
Just
so ridiculous.
She's just like, you don't see a face. She's just panning over the chocolate in sync to the song, and it's like almost. I think it's about to be the most viewed TikTok.
Are you serious?
Ever. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Like, who watches this shit? I'm not a big TikTok person.
Yeah.
I don't go on TikTok. I think when it initially became really big, I was on it. And he wasn't on it. And so I would send him shit all the time. I'd be like, oh my God, look at this, look at this.
All mad because I wouldn't watch it?
I know, and I would send stuff to my bestie. She was sending me stuff back. But then I was like, oh my God, this is such a waste of my fucking time. Well, because I wasn't doing it for business, I was just watching stupid shit.
But now it's the other way around.
And now it's the other way around. Like now.
Well, I'm doing it for business, so it's research. It's research.
That's not research.
It's research.
So now, like, I hardly go on it. And
Yeah.
to be honest, like, I don't use it. And maybe it's a missed opportunity, but I don't use TikTok, and possibly maybe because we're more heavily on Instagram and on Facebook. And I know that you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket type of thing. And you should be kind of on all the socials and the whole thing. But I'm like, God, fuck, that's a lot of fucking
Well,
work.
right now, everybody says the TikTok shop's going crazy right now. I don't know. Do you know much about the TikTok shop and how it's blowing up right now?
Yes. Yeah. So TikTok shop is blowing up. I am a TikTok shop affiliate, so I myself can create content to sell for the sellers. TikTok is pushing that a lot. So a lot of businesses are going viral because of it. Now, there is a caveat to that. So TikTok, I would say, was dominating in like the past 3 years, right? Especially like during COVID era. And then now there's a shift I've seen towards Instagram again. People used to like shit on Instagram all the time, saying like, "Hey, I'm not growing. TikTok is a place to be," and now it's kind of reverting back.
The content's different though.
Yes.
Because Instagram's more, I think, more localized. I mean, you could go nationwide and all that, but it's more local.
Yeah.
And TikTok's just kind of all over the place. That's the impression I get.
I think it seems to me like it's coming back to being more localized. No, for a long time it was like, well, the age of the influencers kind of died out, right? The influence were like we talk about with the Lamborghinis and
the
shit,
Prada purses,
and the Prada purses. Like that era is dying. So I think people are looking for local connections. Wouldn't you say? So maybe it's time for us to shine. Damn it!
Right?
The douchiness of Instagram is
the douchiness.
There was a lot of douchiness going on for a while.
Yeah,
it was the worst, right?
Yeah, it has shifted. I mean, it went from super curated and high quality content still like kills it on Instagram.
Sure. Yeah. And they push it too, right?
They do push it, but I am seeing a change in the type of content that's being produced on Instagram too, and it's also very sales driven. Like everyone's algorithm is different, so my feed, that's all I see. It's just people like selling, and their videos are going viral too, but they're more selling service based, where TikTok is like very product heavy.
Yeah,
that is true.
It's like those video moms.
Oh, I was just thinking about the beauty bombs. Have you seen it? So these super cute lady from LA, she made some birria bombs. So essentially what you're doing is like you're making birria, but they're bombs like
she
that. She
gets all the ingredients and compresses them into like a ball.
Right.
Oh, I think I've seen that.
All you have to do is throw it in your fucking crock pot, right? So it sounds like I've been trying to get my hands on those, but they're in California, so they're 2 hours away or 2 hour difference. So every time I get it, it's like too late. And she sells, what did I tell you, in 3 minutes?
Like 60,000 or something?
Like $40,000 or $60,000 worth of merch.
As soon as she posts it, it's done and you can't even get it.
Well, but that's also, it's like you're saying, no, that's the caveat to going viral. Yeah. And her account grew from like, selling mom and pop type of style into like now making $60,000 in 3 minutes.
The other one that blew up too was that Mama Nanda or something, the oil pulling, the coconut oil pulling.
Yeah,
there you go.
Okay.
I have like so
I
many
love
of
that
the
stuff too. Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Yeah,
but that's like kind of coming back to what I was saying. Like that's kind of the caveat to like going viral. Like it's good, but now while she had this like huge platform to sell a bunch of shit, she couldn't. After 3 minutes, she was selling out.
Yeah,
and it's like yay, but at the same time, like you lost so many people because honestly, like this was like a month ago, and now I still watch it. I'm like, oh, cool, good for her, but I'm so over it.
But
like I'm not gonna go back and buy
FOMO,
it.
Though, that fear of missing out, so people are always on it because they don't want to miss out on it.
But you can only miss out so many times before you're like, okay, you know what? At this point, like somebody else is gonna make it.
Yeah,
and then I'm just gonna buy those.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, those waves like come and go so fast, and you do have to if you have a viral video, you do have to have the inventory. And the thing that I feel like a lot of people don't understand as a seller, like you have to be able to ship all that stuff out within 3 days. And that's like a lot. Right. So you have, like, again, you have to be prepared.
Yeah. And if you're doing it all yourself, imagine trying to, process orders, ship them, do everything. It's a lot. It's a lot of work.
I think people just think like you just have stuff sitting there and you have a box and you print out your little receipt. And it's kind of more than that. It's like tracking inventory. Yes. You have to make sure that if somebody orders more than one thing, the shipping is correct, right? I mean, what I mean.
It's a lot.
But it's like, it's a whole thing.
And if you don't have enough in stock, it's a whole nother problem. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Getting the inventory in.
Yeah. So what platform would you say is growing most? I just recently read a report where it said that Instagram is the most deleted app currently. And some people are predicting that it's going to die in 3 years. And, but at the same time, people are having conversations like the one that we just had where you're saying, well, like people are reverting back to Instagram. I don't know if I see it dying. It's probably just changing it always does, right?
It depends who you talk to. Everybody has different opinions on everything. So
it depends on the industry. It depends on so many factors, right? So I don't think Instagram's going to go away. I think it's actually you're going to see a push towards that again, and even towards TikTok too. I think I personally have seen TikTok a little bit die down because of the push of TikTok Shop. People are kind of getting sick of being sold to in that way. Every other video, it's
a constant sell.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a constant sell.
Is it that much?
Every video you watch now has the little shop button on it.
Yeah, I had seen a video of somebody say like, anytime I see that little. The shop thing, I just scroll past.
But some people are doing good videos where you don't feel like you're being sold to, but that's very few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have seen so many reports that YouTube is going to become top again.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest platforms.
I think X is going to blow up too, honestly, in the next few years.
Yeah.
With everything they're implementing and doing, I think it's going to blow up.
Well, and then I guess like with the whole thing that just happened with Facebook, right, where it wasn't working, and then Instagram keeps getting like hacked or whatever
How about
it was
Threads?
too.
How about Threads?
Threads. I know, it's so funny. I was
Poor
on
things.
Threads. I know. When I do go on Threads, it's like I feel like it's only social media marketers on there.
Is it?
I
Yeah.
called
Keeping it
it.
alive?
When everybody started talking about Threads, I was like, it's not gonna work. Everybody's gonna. They kind of force you to get it.
Yeah.
But I was like, nobody's gonna go on there.
It was such a big thing when it launched, and I got on it. Like I was like, oh, I need to get on it right away.
You kind of have to though. You have to try it.
I called it, right, Mujer?
Yeah.
I called it the day of. I was like, this isn't gonna work. Nobody's gonna go on there.
It died off pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it's gonna stay up if it's gonna shut down. But I think right now it's doing it okay. I feel like it's a platform where people are very like they're just like word vomiting. Like they're just kind of sharing very unpolished stuff, kind of similar to X.
They try to compete with the X, and I don't see the people making that shift.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's the new old Facebook. Remember when all the ants were going on there and like talking shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it seemed to me like that's kind of what it is. And honestly, I haven't even been on it. And I have like followers. I don't know where they come from, but I made like 2 posts.
It's gonna be like X if you want to be restricted, what you could talk about.
Yeah, because it's affiliated with it's Instagram, right?
Well, it's Meta.
Yeah.
It's all the same.
And then like Facebook is for the old people, and if you want to have political fights, that's
that's what you go on there for.
Lots of people say, but honestly, I like Facebook because, especially if you're involved in a lot of Facebook groups, the amount of
the groups are cool.
The groups are amazing because people are always referring each other, and I think people who don't have a Facebook business page and they're not checking in on Facebook could be missing out on a lot too.
Well, we kind of went because we had a pretty good, decent sized Facebook, and we got hacked.
Oh,
so we lost. We had to start over a new Facebook, and then we kind of just like didn't go all in on Facebook like we should have. But
well, because our Facebook was older than our Instagram, as I said, because we've been in business for 14 years. I think that's how long we had it for.
Yeah.
Since like the beginning of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it got hacked, and I wasn't even like sad about it. I was like,
Yeah.
It'll come back. And people will find us.
We were already doing so good on Instagram that it was easy to put in the back seat,
Yeah.
For us.
Yeah. I will say that one thing that remains true no matter what new social media platform is out there or what gains most popularity is that the most important place to have your audience is actually going to be in your email list too.
Yeah. Because you own it. That's your data. That's yours.
I mean, with Facebook yesterday and Instagram kind of shutting down with the talk of TikTok being shut down completely when that was happening with all that. You just never know what's going to happen. And so that is part of your funnel, right? You want to attract people to your social media, but you want to also put them on a nurturing list where you build a relationship. And that's another great area to like share your promotions, your offers, things like that.
It feels like web pages are coming back too. Like you remember everybody kind of lost interest in the web pages, but now everybody's putting their paywalls on their own web pages, their own every distribution, everything on their own webpage.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like there's a little bit of mistrust with the socials.
Yeah,
like you can't have all your eggs in one basket there anymore.
Yeah.
Like you have to have your own email list. But that's going to be like a thing in itself to learn.
And if you say the wrong thing, they decide to kick you off the platform. It's scary. Yeah. You have your own business on one platform, and then you make a mistake you don't even know you make, and they decide to like kick you off or restrict your account. Mm-hmm. That's scary.
That's it.
Yeah.
What's one of the things that you see small business owners, local business owners, a mistake that we constantly make that you're kind of like would like to shake them and be like, stop doing that shit. That's not good.
Yeah. So the biggest thing is I see business owners post just to say that they posted. Yeah. There's hardly any thought put into it. Sometimes the quality is just like awful.
They record it with the microwave.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. And I got to give credit to business owners. They're running a business, right?
Yeah.
And social media is a lot, as we just talked about, and even doing the little things to edit to make it look better. I mean, it takes a little bit of time.
Yeah.
But from what I'm seeing, that's like the biggest thing. They are not taking into account of their branding, so their feed just looks all over the place. They're not taking high quality photos or videos, and some resort to Canva like templates. And
to literally even just using what's there, right?
Yes.
That's so cringe.
And then everything you see on some of their pages, everything's a Canva or a sales thing. You know,
and it literally looks like that,
I
though.
hate seeing that. I fucking hate it.
Yeah. So that's the biggest thing. And I think a big part of that is because maybe they're not taking into account of their social media strategy, right? They're not thinking about their target audience, not thinking about their own branding, what message they're trying to put out, and they're not creating according to like the goals that they're trying to meet. Again, they're just posting just to say that they posted.
And you know what else I hate too is when people just post pictures of their work, but you don't know what they look like, you don't know anything about them, you don't know what they sound like.
Yeah.
I think that's the fucking worst.
Yeah.
I hate
and
that.
I think that would be hard to, like, if say you move places or like you want to refer somebody. I think it's harder to get a referral that way if you're kind of just like posting a bunch of work, which I used to be guilty of. I wasn't like a person who liked to. I didn't want to come on social media all the fucking time and like, hello, look at me, you know. But it's a mind shift, right?
It
like
is.
you have to change the way that you look at social media.
Yes.
Yeah, you had a hard time. I had to drag you in front of the camera practically.
Well, I'm here for everybody saying, look at me.
I made it happen. I made it happen.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Exactly. It is such a big mindset shift because it's something that I've experienced too. I mean, you're putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
You're making yourself known and seen into the world, and you can't hide behind just like a photo of your work or a photo of a product. You're like, okay, this is me, this is who I am, and this is why I'm passionate about what I'm doing. And it's that personal branding aspect that is going to be so important for building trust for, potential clients.
Yeah.
But it's scary. I mean, I was so nervous when I first started, and every once in a while I'll actually look at my first YouTube video because it's so cringe.
Oh, it's still on?
Oh,
everybody go watch it.
No, you're going to go find it because it's under a different name. But that's what you have to do. You have to take that first step. That's how you learn. That's how you get comfortable on camera, is just doing it. And it attracts your people because they follow for your vibe, the way
exactly.
So.
And then, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, so how do you help somebody get over that in terms of like mind shift? How do you do you help them? Like how does somebody do that? Like for me, when I started doing the videos, it was because I was dragged into it.
Yeah.
And so I just did it, and it's like you were saying, it wasn't the very best quality because I was like really curated. We really like insecure about the way I stood or the way that I looked. So how do you help somebody get past that?
Yeah. So if it's in person, like for example, one of my clients, she owns a med spa, and her content before me working with her, you never saw her face, or if you did, it was just like a picture or maybe like a boomerang. You never heard her talk.
Yeah.
And so I was like, we need to start getting your actual self onto social media. So I would help her and I would record her and I would hype her up. I'd be like, oh, you got this. If you have to do several takes, that's okay. And the more she did it, she got comfortable. But for someone who may not have someone to help guide them, the biggest thing you can do is just start recording yourself. Like set your phone on the bathroom when you're getting ready, and maybe just like talk about what your day is going to be. The better or the more that you can get comfortable on camera, even if it's not going to be posted anywhere, that's how you start building up that confidence. And then ultimately, you're just going to have to hit post on one of them.
Yeah, you just got to let go.
Yeah.
That's funny because we just had that instance the other day where I helped guide you on the camera recording, remember?
Yes.
When was that, yesterday?
He was guiding me by telling me, I could do it. It's not that hard. I don't understand why you can't do it.
We had a big battle.
That was my guidance. That was my guidance.
Like, get out of the way. I'll do it.
And I was like, you don't understand what kind of pressure I go through. He's like, look it.
No,
anyway,
we had a little fight the other day recording.
Oh, yeah.
It happens every now and then.
Yeah.
And so, and I have an issue when we're recording stuff that I know is, I don't want to say really important, but I only get one chance at it.
Yeah.
And when we started doing the podcast, I was like, can I edit it? Can I choose what goes in and what goes out? All my all the laws, like I was talking to you before we started. And he was like, no, we just got to do it.
No, you just run with it.
And so now I'm comfortable with it.
Yes.
But I still have issues like when I'm recording and like you can't take anything out. You know what I mean? So do you help your clients? And maybe you tell them like, oh, don't worry. If you fuck up, like we'll just do it again or we'll edit it out or something.
I will say for our podcast, it is different because I love to hear podcasts where the mistakes are kind of left in there.
Yeah.
It's more authentic. But I mean, that's someone who has the patience already to sit down and listen to something longer form, right? If you're doing a short form video, I do tell my clients, like, I will cut all that stuff out. And I do. And I do for myself too, because especially if you're doing like a talking video on platforms like Instagram or TikTok, people have less of that attention span. So I'm just going to try to cut out as much as the extra fluff or the noise that doesn't need to be there and take up their time.
Yeah.
So I tell them too that I can cut it out, and sometimes I'll teach them how to cut it out themselves because I use a platform called CapCut to edit.
Oh yeah, CapCut.
Yes.
CapCut.
CapCut. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yes.
We just started. I lost my train of thought. Where did we start?
Start what?
Did we start something? I say we just started doing.
Started doing what? Cool videos? Or,
no,
I don't know. This will probably get cut out.
This will probably get cut out. Yeah, this is not a good portion of the podcast.
We'll leave it in. We're gonna run with the podcast. We're leaving it in.
Take it out.
Staying.
No, but I was gonna say, what is your, because you do more beauty industry.
Yes.
So what is your passion for the beauty industry that you decided to niche down?
So my passion for it was because there is a certain aesthetic. I feel like my style matches with the beauty industry, right? So for someone who is doing something more casual, they can post more lo-fi content. Like, it doesn't need a much editing, right? Yeah. So beauty professionals, you have to show off your work. And one of the best ways to do that is by having that high quality content. Yeah. So that was like one aspect of it, was I feel like my style of editing matched the style that would perform well for beauty pros. Yeah. And the second was, personally, I never really was into beauty treatments myself. And then when I started talking to beauty professionals and hearing their story or hearing their mission and just hearing their passion for it, I was like, I love this. Like, I love being around business owners like that, entrepreneurs. And I think that also separates. They have this more of an entrepreneurial mind versus just like a dead-on like company or business.
Like a corporate, a corporation. It's got to be a little boring doing corporate. Yes. I could imagine.
Like all the time doing it. Like, oh my God.
And then you probably see these girls posting beauty stuff. You're like, okay, I could do this. I would do this way.
Yeah.
And I imagine you sit back and do that all the time.
Yeah.
I was just talking to somebody yesterday about like how us gals in the beauty industry, like, you don't only have to perform correctly when you're doing a job. Like for me, it's eyebrows. So when I tattoo, not only do I have to tattoo well, I also have to understand that aesthetic, and I have to learn how to post.
Yes.
And then when people meet you, or even when you're recording on camera, like, you also have to be able to not sell your personality, but show your personality. Yes. So what do you do when somebody has like no personality? Because there's people like that. There's girls that you meet and they have like zero personality, and it's like, oh my God, like, you're terrible.
Yeah, you see some of these people on camera and they look like they have big old huge personality. You meet them in person, it's a whole different fucking person.
Really?
Like, who is this person? Where's the Instagram person at?
I mean, for me, I think it's worse when it's the opposite.
When they have,
when they have no personality, like online.
Yeah.
And they're recording this video and they're like, greetings, like, today this is what we're gonna do, and it's like, oh my God.
I think it's worse the other way, because then it seems fake, like they put on the show, and then when you meet in person, like, there's nothing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's worse that way.
So how do you help somebody when they don't have personality is what I'm asking.
Yeah. So I actually had this one client. He is a podiatrist, and I wouldn't say that he didn't have a personality.
What's his name?
No.
His handle is.
But he just didn't want to talk. He just wasn't comfortable with that. I say, you know what? That's fine. There's so many ways to show off what you do and to make an impact with your messaging that it's not necessary. So talking videos are not for everybody, and that's okay. Because of so many ways to be creative nowadays, that's not necessary. I think it can help, but again, you do tend to have that personality. But then again, like, I've seen people blow up on TikTok, and I mean, they're dull, but they still attract their people, and that's okay. So that's like one thing to keep in mind, that you don't have to do anything that you're not comfortable with. But I do encourage you to push yourself just to see, because you never know. Like, if you just think about like, oh, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to like it, you'll never know that you might actually like it, or that it might do something really well for you and for your brand. But so that's one thing. So for him, we just did more of the videos where I'm doing like B-roll. So I'm doing shots of his work, of his clients, or of his office. And then I'm matching it with like trending audios on Instagram. Okay. So that was his strategy. I also put more emphasis on carousels and high quality photos. I was going to mention something too, and I forgot where I was going to go with my other med spa client. But we'll come back to that. But yeah, so that's one thing.
But now you could add that text to speech too, and they have all those voices that you could like throw on there.
You do. Yes, I do think that's more of a TikTok thing.
Yeah.
They have that. I think it's like the trickster voice. It's a very yeah. And that's
so weird.
Yeah.
I bet you with AI though, they're gonna start coming out with some crazy stuff.
Oh my gosh,
you'll be able to get
getting so crazy.
That person with no personality, and AI put the personality in and have them doing dances and all kinds of crazy shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I was you brought up a good point with your client who maybe isn't as loud as some of us are. That in itself is a brand.
Yes. Yes.
People. There's a lot of people that prefer somebody who's really quiet or who's really, and that in itself will attract their clientele, right? That would be their target market. Maybe they don't want somebody that's super outgoing and loud like me.
What's that one girl? You know that one that does the interviews with like rappers and stuff, and she's so dull.
Oh, I know. I think Bobby.
Yeah, I didn't
something like that.
I didn't. I was like, what the hell is everybody watching this? It's boring as shit. But then Claudia told me it's like her persona that she puts on. I didn't know that. I thought that was how she was. I'm like, why is anybody watching this shit?
Yeah, that's definitely like her persona that she puts out. I think part of it is maybe actually her true personality, because I kind of followed her from the beginning. But yeah, so putting yourself out there, just doing what you can with what you're comfortable with, is you'll figure out on that journey of what's going to work best for you.
Yeah,
I think it's also the pressure like of seeing other people. For me anyway, and that was going back to when we started. This is the reason why I actually didn't even want to do the put myself out there and talk and do the videos, because I would see everybody in my industry doing the Prada bag, doing the douchebag shit. And like, oh, look at me, I'm going shopping, and look at me, I'm doing this, and oh, I make $1 gazillion, look at me. And so that was even part of their brand and their business, which I thought was fucking annoying. So for me, like, that's one of the things that I didn't want to do, but I felt almost this pressure to be that way. So for me, instead of being that way, I chose to do nothing at all, which isn't a good thing.
Yeah, it was a mental block for sure.
Yeah. But I feel like there's a lot of that in every industry.
It's disappearing though, I think, that whole thing. I think people are tired of seeing that shit.
Yeah, well, it's like we were saying, like the douchebaggerism is out.
Yeah.
Like the bro marketing is kind of going to the side too. There was a lot of the bro marketing going on.
I know. Yeah, it was everywhere. But yeah, even with influencers in general, I mean, there was this whole big trend called de-influencing, and people were just kind of getting tired of that. They want to see real people, and their real life too. So
they want to see behind the curtains, see how everything really operates, and
see what it's really like.
Yeah, because everybody was faking the funk. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was nothing but fakery going on.
Yeah,
it was a lot of it.
But I think it's like everything else, and I've seen this in the industry, and I'm sure it's in every industry, where it's you build up something that's not real. And you're constantly saying you're this person, and I feel like there's this thing where if you say you're the best, people automatically assume that you are, But I think now those people are that business mindset, or what would you call it? That business model is falling apart. Because now it's more authenticity that people are looking for.
You can't maintain a lie either forever. You know what I mean? The lie's gonna reveal itself eventually. You can't maintain it.
I am still seeing that on Instagram. There's this whole big trend called MRR. It's master resale rights. It's people selling like digital courses that they didn't create.
Oh yeah.
And there's this big like push on people saying like, oh, I had a call with Meta today. Like they're just saying all these lies, like, oh, I made $1 million after 2 weeks of starting. And it's like these big claims that you just know is just all bullshit. And so I am seeing a little bit that, but I think that's going to go down too.
Yeah, or they have 1 million followers but 2 likes.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's a big
and
one.
then their followers, you look at their followers and it's like fucking some weird names and
or like
stuff.
a random picture that is like fake and stuff.
I still can't believe people buy followers to this day.
Is that still a thing going on?
It's still a thing.
Yeah, that's crazy. I had a friend who had a brand. Yeah. And she told me, she's like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed to admit that I bought followers.
Yeah.
And I was like, why?
Yeah.
And so it was the weirdest thing because she ended up kind of, I would say, blowing up in our industry.
Yeah.
But for some reason, she never got past that number that she was at. So I don't know if like Instagram punishes you or something because she was trying to get rid of all these
all the bots.
Yeah. And I guess you could only get, I don't know, what would you call it, unfollow or whatever, like certain amount of people per day. But then her account never grew, even though I personally know that a lot of people knew who she was and her brand was getting known.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not a good thing to like buy followers. I don't even understand that concept.
Anything.
It's so fucking
it's
stupid.
It's like the blue check mark. Everybody's buying that blue check. Well, they did for a little bit.
They did.
Yeah.
I did the blue check mark for a little bit, made zero difference.
Yeah,
I was like, it's just a waste of money. I would say if you are going to put money into growing into your page, one of the ways that I have found to be really helpful is boosting the right posts.
Your ads.
And then doing little ads like that, and then there's an option to where they just visit your page. And so for example, Leah did that for both Nobility and La Tira, and she grew thousands of followers fairly quickly.
Yeah, and those are people that actually want to buy your product.
Yes, yeah, because it's local, and they saw her page and they followed because they wanted to.
So you're gonna monetize your followers, but instead of just buying followers, just so it looks like you have a lot of numbers.
Yes,
doesn't make no sense because none of those followers are gonna turn into a client or buy your product from you.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
So I know that you do content calendars.
Yes.
Because she made one for me.
And
I was like, it's so many pages. I love it. It was a lot of pages. I was like, oh my God, I didn't think, I don't know, I usually make my own. So
it's another list for the list.
Yes, I like to keep track of a lot of lists.
Yeah.
I'm literally like getting your list and transferring it onto my list.
Yeah.
Which is another list that I already made.
By any chance, do you do them in sticky note format?
No. He likes sticky notes. He likes sticky notes. He's a word.
I got sticky notes everywhere.
Oh my God.
I used to do sticky notes. Okay, so I feel like I have undiagnosed ADHD, and I used to do everything like notebooks and sticky notes, and I couldn't find anything when I needed it, so I had to do it all digitally.
That's a lie. I have my sticky notes in particular positions where I know.
That's not true.
You just say you don't know what's going on.
That's not true. Yeah. For you said you have everything digitally?
Yeah.
All your notes and everything now? Everything,
yeah. That's so I have a certain set of tools that I use all the time. So I use a project manager management tool. It's ClickUp. Some people like Trello. Some people like Asana or Notion.
Never heard of that.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. So it's a place to write like your projects and like the due dates of that and keep notes of everything. For my content calendar, I'm now switching over to the Google Sheets, which is what the content calendar that I provided you. For my clients, I used to use a platform called Metrocool, which is like a scheduler, which it's nice and everything. But again, at the end of the day, I'm like, I just want to simplify things. Most people use Google. They have Google Drive. It's just like, it's free for the most part. So I started transitioning to that. But I like it because of the searchability. So if I don't want to have to spend forever trying to find something, I can just search it and then it pulls it up wherever. For my notes, I use an app called Mem AI. And it's exactly that. It's like a digital notepad, but with the search feature and like a chat feature.
Oh,
and
no way.
So nice.
That sounds cool because I just use the notes that the computer comes with.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to scroll down and look for everything.
Oh, you can't just type it in to look for something?
I can't do it. Whenever I do it, I can't find it. So I got notes. I have to open note list after note list to find the right thing. I hate it.
Yeah.
And so for the content calendars, I know you did an amazing job with mine.
Thank you.
It was like very, very specific. And I was like, oh my God, I love that shit because I love details, right?
Yes.
So how long does that shit take, man? That looks like it takes a lot.
It took a long time. So the reason why I created that calendar is because I personally had struggled with my own content creation and being consistent and everything. And I would see all these ads or all these freebies, like free content calendar. And I'm not going to say that they're not helpful, but they're very generic, right? So it's still put that brain burden on me that I still have to like come up with something to match it. And it was still too much work. So that's when I decided to come up with this content calendar. And it took me about, I want to say maybe 5 hours. And that's like fast for me. Cause like if the way that I do it, I start off with your brand, right? So I provided you with a form to fill out to give me insight as to who you are, your brand, your goals, and everything. So I'm essentially starting off with a strategy, and that gives me the roadmap that I need to create maybe the content themes, the content pillars, the things that I need to make sure are addressed, especially if you're launching something or there's some kind of promo going on. So once I have those topics, I then start with the hook. So the hook is, whether you're posting on any platform, you basically have about 3 seconds to draw in your audience, right? And that can be a visual hook. So like on TikTok, people will do like outrageous things, right? Just shocking. On Instagram, it's more of the text. So that's where I'm thinking. So I write the text of the hook. And then I write a caption for that. And I make sure the caption are hitting keywords that the target audience are searching for.
That's right.
Yeah, and it works with the SEO and everything.
It's the SEO, yes. Yeah. And then I try to infuse a little bit of storytelling, or I'm trying to like agitate an emotion in them. So it's not just like a basic caption, right? So I'm really trying to think into the mind of like, what does this person need to hear to take the action that we're trying to take them?
It's like the clickbait. We all fall for it, and we get mad when it's not what it says it is, but you fall for it still, and it gets you in there.
Don't sell to me, but yes, I'll buy it.
And you'll sit there and wait till the whole video just to see if what they're talking about in the thumbnail and stuff happens.
Yes.
And you're like, fuck, they didn't even say nothing.
You always get caught with
I get caught clickbait all the time, man.
Yeah. I don't do clickbait. I deliver what I promise in the hook. So, but that's the structure, right? You want to start off with the hook. You want to have the caption, the body to be valuable in some way, whether that's going to motivate someone or it's going to educate them or inspire them to do something. And then you're going to always want to end with some kind of call to action, right? So whether that is just to simply follow you, and that's how you grow followers. You want them to comment, which is going to lead to engagement. You want them to share it. So these are also the metrics that you're thinking about, because likes are okay, but you want people to save or share or comment, right?
Yeah.
And then especially if you've implemented an automation. So there's this big platform called ManyChat. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it.
No.
Nah.
But it's an automation that's blowing up. And what it does is that, so let's say you have like your tactical beauty journal, right? And that's something that you want to push out. Let's say you make a video on it, and you in your caption you say comment journal if you want the link to purchase it. And when someone comments journal, ManyChat recognizes it and sends them the link into their DMs.
Oh, no way. Oh,
I've seen
we're gonna have to
that.
get with you on that one.
Yeah.
Figure that out. That's awesome.
So again, that's it's like a double win. So you're boosting your engagement, and you're actually, leading your client down a funnel, basically.
Oh,
that
shit.
sounds awesome.
So I think I may have put like an example of one on yours. But yeah, so that's your formula: hook, value, call to action.
And you can link that up with your social media?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
so
no way.
it works with Meta, so Facebook and Instagram.
Okay, shit. We'll have to check into that.
So at the very least, like if somebody doesn't know what the hell to post, or they're a small business and they don't really know the social medias, like what's that one thing that you can tell them that will help?
Yeah, again, it all comes down to the target audience.
Yeah.
So if you can just take a minute and just list out, like maybe like a paper where you have like a chart, right? And here's your products, your services, or your offers. Okay, so that is the solution. What are the problems that they are experiencing that my stuff is the solution for?
Yeah.
So then you list out all their pain points or all their problems. Okay, so what is it that they want? Because sometimes people think they know what they want, not what they need. So you also have to translate, okay, so what are they looking for? What are they searching for? Or what is it that they typically need? And so once you have a general idea of that, then it makes it easier to create content ideas. So then you can start off with something simple like 3 ways my service will help with this problem, right? And that's a hook. It's a simple hook, but it's a hook.
You're always trying to solve somebody's problem. Everybody wants a problem solved, so you're always looking for a way to solve it for them, essentially.
Yes, exactly. So if you have a pretty good understanding of that, then creating content would be a lot easier.
Okay.
And wouldn't you say like the very first thing is like knowing who your target market even is? I feel like a lot of us, especially in the beauty industry, like we do this thing and we think this thing is going to sell because we do this thing, like, but who specifically is going to buy it? Maybe I'm younger and a lot of my clients are younger and I do like a younger style of lashes or something.
Yes.
And so they wouldn't necessarily have the same target market as maybe somebody in an older community. or in a salon that's older. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
And I feel like that's where people really need to start. Like, you need to know who you're trying to sell to.
Exactly.
And you essentially have to niche down your target market. Otherwise, if you're selling to everybody, you're selling to no one, right?
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Well, now, like with what you do and like marketing companies and stuff, there's so much data there that they're able to find and actually create that target market for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only that, honestly, even using AI, I use ChatGPT to kind of give me the foundation of what a target audience would be for a client, and then I do my own research as well. But if you're lost, I mean, there's so many things that you can look up to kind of get that, but also look at your own client base. Like if you look back at your clients, like who are they? You'll find patterns, and you'll be able to identify who they are. And there might be some diversity, but you're not seeing a pattern in the demographic, you're seeing a pattern in what they're searching for or the services that are most popular.
And so what do you do with you have clients who, because I've had a few friends who have asked me, like a little bit about social media.
Yeah.
And I kind of start off telling them, but they're like, no, but you're wrong. And I'm like, dude, I'm not wrong.
Asking, right? Why are you asking?
Well, first of all, why the fuck are you asking? But number two, it's like, no, I'm telling you, and the fact that you have issues and now you're telling me that I'm wrong is like, you're not open to suggestions. So how do you deal with clients that are telling you, no, but that's not how my social media works?
Yeah.
I'm special. I'm different. Like my social media works different, even though it hasn't been working.
Yeah. Well, I don't work with them.
Yeah. And they don't want to fucking listen.
Have you ever turned people away?
I have. Yeah. 100%.
And why? Give us the juiciest story why you turned somebody away.
Crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's so many factors. I wish there was like a crazy story, but it's not. It's usually because I will talk to people before I try to, sell them my services. I'll get to know them, get to know the story, and some of them don't prioritize marketing or social media, and if they don't see that importance, then I'm going to be wasting my time.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I approach that. With my clients, I do my best to alleviate as much pressure for them and to allow them to save as much time as possible. But at the end of the day, I also make sure that they're on the same page and they're on board. I don't just go out of their way to post something because I think that it's the best way. I will tell them what my recommendations are, but ultimately it's also still their brand.
Okay.
So there's this balance to where I work with them to what feels right, but I will also say, hey, look, this is probably not going to work, and this is why, and here's the alternative. And most of the time, my clients are on board and they trust my process.
Yeah. I got a quick question for you. So ads, you help your clients with ads and everything, right? So how much would you say for a starting business, just starting out, how much is a good number to start out boosting an ad as?
So you can start out, it depends on your budget, but I would say like at least $50.
That's typical, huh? $50. We get a lot of people that say, "Oh, I did it $10 and it didn't do anything for me," and then they just fucking stop. You know what I mean?
We always talk about this little food truck, and sadly they moved, but they had their food was so good, and it was a mom and pop and his son and their son, and it was so good. And they moved because they couldn't afford the rent anymore, right?
I don't know.
Well, I assume
they said
I'm being
the
a bitch.
location
Maybe
wasn't good. They weren't enough to business because of the location.
The location was fine,
Yeah.
and especially nowadays with like the socials, people will fucking drive it anywhere.
Yeah.
And I keep that. I'm going into another rant. Anyway, you went right, and so he said that they put like $5 and it didn't work.
Yeah, we talked about this in another episode, but I started talking about social media. Are you on social media? He's like, yeah. He's like, I do it a little bit. I was like, you ever tried ads? He's like, yeah, I do $5, but I didn't get nothing out of it. I'm like, man, I wanted to shake the guy. Like, come on, guy, your food's good. Just do it.
Yeah. So,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, so I just want to clarify the $50. Like that would be maybe like the first 5 to 7 days. That's just to get the data. I would not stop there. That's just to see if it is working.
Yeah.
And then if it's working, then you add more to it.
You ever do A and B testing on?
I do. And there is a difference between boosted posts and actual ads that are run through the ad manager within Meta. So that's a whole other ball game too.
Yeah.
Most of my clients, especially in the beauty industry, maybe they'll start off with boosting posts.
Yeah.
But like, for example, one of my clients is the actual owner of the studio space, and they're trying to fill the rooms. And that's where I'm like, okay, this needs to be a little bit larger. So we ran an actual full ad campaign
through Meta.
Yeah.
And so I read a little bit of the difference between them, and I saw that a lot of the times it's better for some businesses it's better to be boosted as opposed to running a specific ad. So what would you say maybe is a reason that, or what would you say? Why should what circumstances would merit them doing an ad as opposed to a boosted ad?
Yeah, so for a boosted ad, I would say it's a little bit more casual in the sense it can be, you're already posting something, right? And you're either going to try to attract people to communicate you, that you can send them a message, or they can visit your profile. So that is more just like a brand awareness, audience growth approach.
Yeah.
If you were going to run an ad, that means that you already have your funnel in place, you have the offer in place.
Okay.
So it's gonna reach a more targeted audience, or like just a general broad audience, right? If you're boosting, you're probably trying to target like within the 25 miles or 50 miles max. But an ad, I mean, that is way more detailed, and that is for someone like you really are trying to push for a specific promo or an offer. Whereas a boosted post, it's more of that brand awareness.
Yeah. Do you ever do any YouTube ads?
I have not done any YouTube ads.
Yeah, no, we want to get into the YouTube ads too. We haven't done one yet, but that's our next goal right there.
Okay, yeah, I love that. Yeah.
So maybe you can help us with that.
Okay, for sure.
And I think too for ads, I think everybody should have a marketing budget, which includes like either hiring a social media person, or if you understand the algorithm, or if you started the ads, a budget for that.
The magic algorithm.
The magic of algorithm.
That nobody really knows, but everybody knows.
We all use it. We all say the word, but who knows what it really is.
What is the algorithm?
Well, there's no one algorithm. Yeah. There's many algorithms. Sure. And it's not this thing that you're trying to like hack. Like, you have to think about it. When you pull up your Instagram, people stay on it because they're getting content that they would likely enjoy. Yeah. That's the algorithm. It's for the consumer in mind. And so whenever you're posting content, again, you have to think about, okay, what is my target audience feed maybe looking like? And you're trying to match that. But there's no way to like hack the algorithm.
Yeah. It's always changing too. It's always changing. Yeah. That's don't look at my algorithm.
Yeah. But he also uses the studio, he'll use the studio account to look at stuff, and I'm like, why am I getting this? Like, I don't care about picture taking. I don't care about like cars and videography. Yeah. Like, just show me brows and like clothes and shit. Yeah. So the algorithm listens.
Well, yeah.
Whatever it is.
Because on the studio, I get all the plastic surgery
Oh, yeah. There you go. That's what I want to look at. Plastic surgery stuff.
Yeah.
Like, why am I getting short these cars? Or like these two guys fighting?
I'll be doing, because I run a lot of the social media sometimes. So I'll be like in a public place, and I open up, and it's a naked girl because she's getting plastic surgery, and it's showing every time. I'm like, fuck. I look like a pervert right there.
Like, what is this guy looking at?
I know, it's weird.
Yeah, and it really does adapt. So it's based on what you're liking, what you're saving, what you're commenting on, right? So I am doing research all the time. Whenever on my Explore page, you can tell like the difference between like what client I'm working with at that moment. Because I'll have, like, so for example, I have another client who sells jewelry. So whenever I'm doing research, my entire Explore page is just jewelry. Okay. And then a week later, it's all like injector stuff or all hairstylist stuff. So it picks it up really quick.
And it shifts that quick.
It does.
That's crazy. I thought it would like take a little bit of time to make that shift.
It may take time, like if you're just like naturally scrolling, but I do see the big difference when I'm on the Explore.
Well, you're actively just going through and checking it all out though. So I imagine you're doing deep dives.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've heard too is like some people do essentially market research on competitors. Do you usually recommend brands or like beautypreneurs or small business to do research on competitors? Like, that's never been my thing. We kind of just do whatever we feel like.
Thing, you know?
But is that usually recommended?
So it's recommended, but I don't really do it either because one, you can easily fall into the comparison trap, and it'll leave you stuck because then you're like thinking, and then you'll start to lose your own voice because you're trying to mimic other people.
And every like I said, everybody, if you go on like beauty especially, you see everybody doing the same videos, the same sounds, everything, and it's just like a cycle of the same thing, and it gets boring.
Yeah,
and nobody stands out.
Yeah.
I hate seeing that.
I think it's maybe nice to do initial research to see like, okay, they are active on this platform, but not going too deep into it, just to see like, Okay, so they have a similar audience than me. They're doing well on Instagram or they're doing well on TikTok. Maybe that's where I'll be, but that's where I'll stop it.
Yeah. How about dancing? Do you tell your clients to do the little dances? Do you really?
I do. So my med spa client, she started recently doing the trends that you see on TikTok and everything. And you know what? It works. People book because of that. They're like, she recently told me that a client reached out to her. She said, I saw that video where you were dancing and I just had to work with you because I love your vibe.
Yeah.
Because she didn't take everything so seriously. And it was just like her being herself. So I know not everyone is comfortable, but if you can infuse the entertainment piece or, like that really breaks that trust or, gets that trust a lot faster because you're being human.
Yeah, for sure. You have to be entertaining. We're all in the entertainment business now, whether you like it or not. Exactly. Everybody. I always say that all the time. Yeah. Like, we like putting out like funny stuff, We need a little bit of jokes and stuff. And people come in and they know the little inside jokes. And it's kind of cool to see.
Yes.
But I feel like I refuse to post just to post, So like in the last 2-3 weeks, we got, we were on our slow season and so our busy season started. And so we've been kind of not posting a bunch, but I refuse to post just to post.
Right.
What do you think about scheduled posts?
So I schedule posts for my clients. But even then, it's scheduled so that I can get the notification, but I will manually post it, actually. Just because like if I'm using a trending audio, most schedulers will not be able to detect that. And so it's going to show up as like that person's original audio, and it defeats the purpose of using a trending audio. So I think you should plan out at least the idea or the topic of content. I mean, obviously for the calendar that I gave for you, it's almost like completely done aside from the actual video or photo. But yeah, I think there has to be a balance between what you plan out, and you definitely don't have to post every single day. I know a lot of people say like post once a day or 3 times a day. I think from my research, what I'm finding the sweet spot right now is 4 posts a week.
Oh, really?
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not like Gary Vee then, where you say post everything nonstop.
Well, you got to think about it. Gary Vee has.
He's got a film crew just following him around, just he's got a whole team.
Well, he also has following that would work. I mean, anything that he posts, at least a few people are watching. You know.
Yeah. We're gonna have to start wrapping it up here pretty quick.
Okay.
Well, so tell us where people can find you.
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at Big Text Social. BigTextSMM.com is my website, and
those calendars, they're custom to each individual?
They're custom to each individual.
Okay, and they can reach out to get them right there?
That's awesome. I feel like there's so many people I should just send this podcast to. Or at the very least, send them your account. Because some people are like, they're terrible at their social media. Like, terrible. Yeah. They just either post whatever or they don't care what they post. Yeah. Anyway, see, there's another rant.
This is your sign to take your social media seriously.
Yeah, so if you guys want to get better on social media, reach out to Maritza. I almost did it again too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maritza.
Yeah, Maritza.
Yeah.
And then we had the mazapan fucking coffee in the morning. So
we're all over the place today.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's all good.
And then you can follow me at Leeboy Savage and Claudia at
Vanidosa Beauty or Beautypreneur _CEO.
Yeah, make sure you guys like and subscribe too, so we could keep putting out some good content for you guys.
And we'll catch you guys at the next one.
And I'm going to keep ranting.
We both are. And one more thing before we go. We were ready, but we're not. So Maritza is having a mastermind event. So she's going to teach us a lot of stuff about social media. So do you want to give us the deets?
Yeah. So basically, this is it's going to focus on Instagram, but it's how to use Instagram in 2024 as a business owner. And we're going to cover the basics. So a lot of my clients come to me. They're like, I don't know what the difference between a stories or a carousel or a reel is. We're going to cover that. We're going to cover how to navigate Instagram so you use the best features and to get the best reach and engagement. We're going to actually talk about hacks that actually work to get you more reach and engagement. And we're going to talk about content creation secrets. So how to have a better flow to create content, how to create better content so that you can attract more clients and more customers.
Yeah, and that'll be in our studio at Vanidosa Beauty Studios. Yes. And what's the date?
April 21st from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
So April 21st, don't miss out. You can find the link to register at Vanidosa Beauty.
And I'll put it down below also.
And we'll put it down below. All right, guys. For reals, this is it.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye.